free from a little bit better, approachable coaching for everyday earth keeping. So I think food waste is a huge proportion of what we dispose of in the kitchen, especially. It's sort of unavoidable when it comes to kids. They'll be halfway through their apple and get tired of the taste. So can't avoid it, but let's at least rethink how we dispose of our food waste. So I do try to think about, before composting or disposing of, how I might be able to reuse those scraps. So this is my top tip for some little concentrated flavour pods. You can use the little wilted and withered veggie scraps that you've got in your fridge that you'll probably want to chuck out. We can use those and put them in the freezer, and they can add heaps of flavour to our food. So I'm sure this is pretty familiar to you all, especially if you've got kids, half-eaten apples, oh my god. Carrots that are probably grated into something and then left half of, shriveled mushrooms, half-cut onions, seen better days, sweet potatoes, and zucchinis. Very soft, very squidgy zucchinis, and of course, very limp celery. So I don't even compost this stuff. It's all perfectly edible. It's kind of gross to eat fresh. And if the kids see you trying to feed it to them, they're going to freak out if they're anything like mine. So I'll show you what I do with these guys. So as you can hear, it's still kind of sizzling from the oven. It's all roasted up. All of the little leaves that I put on from the celery have kind of crisped up nicely. It's up to you whether you put the leaves in or not, but they will go a bit like that, and that's completely fine. It's extra flavour. You can just eat them like that if you wanted to. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. But I blitz them and I turn them into little flavour pods that I can put into my kids' meals for a bit of flavour and also for a bit of goodness. So we don't have a huge yard for multiple compost bins, that sort of thing. We're inner city living, and I think a lot of people probably watching this might be living in apartments and that sort of thing. So bokashi bins are really useful for that. So we'll collect our scraps in a little bucket just on the bench, staggy little bucket on the bench during the day. And at the end of the day, we'll empty it into our bokashi bin like this, and we'll sprinkle it with the bokashi grains. Yeah, so the bokashi grains just speed up the fermentation process before you kind of let it sit for 10 days after it's full, and then we can put it on the compost. So bokashi bins are extra special because you can put basically everything in them. You can put dairy, you can put bread, you can put meat scraps. There's very few things you can't put in there, which is super helpful when it comes to sorting out all of your food scraps, at the bench level. So they all come with a tap on them. As you can see, there's heaps of this juice that comes out the bottom. It's super potent, so you need to water this down a lot if you're going to use it on your plants. Some would say 1 to 100. I'm sure my husband isn't quite that diligent, and they survive a little more concentrated than that. But if you use this on its own, it's actually potent enough to act as a drain cleaner. So I guess consider that when you're thinking about how much to water it down. But it's super concentrated with heaps of nutrients for your plants. So as you can see, we've got our super stylish composted up here. And after draining the fluid out of the bottom into the jars, you just empty the contents of that bokashi into the compost. So you can see we've added a mix of everything. There's leftovers in there. There's cardboard from, a takeaway cardboard container, skins, bread. Joe's just aerating it a bit, turning it as best he can. given how full it is. But as you can see, like the kind of soil that you can see coming up now, you know, that's the last couple of bokashi bins. Yeah. So it breaks down pretty quickly, and it really helps to put that bokashi stage into your rotation to speed the process up. So another really simple thing we can do is cut down the amount of animal products we eat. So personally not a vegetarian. My family eats lots of meat. Well, we don't eat lots of meat, but we eat meat. And I don't think that is going to change in the short term. So I try to work on reducing it as much as possible. And where I do eat it, I make sure to source it from the right sort of places. So I think first off, we can just try to eliminate $3 500 gram minced meat packets from the supermarket. That's something that kind of needs to go. It's not going to be sustainably farmed, not at that price. If you're anything like me, I would prefer not to eat it only once a week, but I would prefer to spread that portion across a couple of meals. So I've got kids, obviously, so they will eat a lot of mince, spaghetti bolognese, you know, meatballs, that sort of thing. I am reducing the amount of meat I need in each portion as much as I can. So you need to start bulking out. The brown lentils in the tin are perfect for that because the texture is almost exactly the same. It just disappears, but the flavor of the meat is still there. The discerning meat lover does not know the difference, but you've just halved your portion. So when it comes to getting our meat, I get it from a regenerative farm here in Victoria. They deliver it to our door in compostable plastic wrapping. So that's 500 grams of beef mince there. Lots of people would kind of make one meal with that. They would just make one round of spag bowl or, you know, a cottage pie or something, and that would be that. But this would easily maybe go 3 or 4 times that far once I'm done with it. So say I'm making spag bowl, I'm really only using half of that, and then supplementing it with lentils and tin tomatoes or mushrooms or grated carrot, grated zucchini, add the lot, and you'll be amazed by how far. You know, I easily make about 4 portions or 8 portions with just this much mince. So that's how I prefer to have my meat. Otherwise, just go vegetarian for the majority of the week and then just have it once or twice a week. You know, do what you can, try to reduce what you can, try to not buy the really bargain bin meat from the supermarket, because you know that will not be coming from a place that puts the environment first. So try to have a look into a regenerative farm near you because they're great. You know, regenerative farming, I'm so excited about it. I could do a whole video about it on its own, but Google it. Try to do what you can, just try to reduce that intake a little bit when it comes to animal products, and it will make a huge impact. We can supplement as much as we can. You can replace if you want. But personally, as I said, I prefer to spread out my portions. So I still get the taste. They still get something that they're familiar with. But I have also halved or quartered our intake. So finally, I thought I would go through recycling. I think some people might feel a bit limited to what they can put in the curbside services, but if you Google it, there are tons of solutions for your items. So if there's something that features heavily in your waste each week, you know, maybe you've got heaps of milk bottle caps or beer bottle lids or I don't know, it could be anything. You'll probably find there's a solution for it, even if the curbside services don't take them. Okay, so I know, you know, in our area, our council doesn't take soft plastics, so there is the RedCycle option. So in our recycling station that I have next to our fridge, we recycle all the soft plastics. You know, it's just, you know, bags, soft plastic wrappers that go around toys or, you know, fruit strap wrappers, whatever there is, that's all soft plastics. Anything that can be scrunched in one hand, considered soft plastics. We also recycle, we have a little box, a very jaggy box here that we recycle all of our batteries. So as batteries run out, we put them in that box. That's in one of the drawers as well. We've got another box, texters. All of our felt tip pens will go in there. They can all be recycled via Officeworks. as can electrical recycling, small electrical recycling, broken adapters, cords that are redundant now, old electric toothbrushes, that sort of thing. And then finally, we also have our metals. So I sort them separately. We've got things like the wire cages on the top of champagne bottles, alfoil, and bottle top lids. So we sort those all in our metal basket, and then we can sort those, and we send them to our local metal recycler, who is actually a little boy who set up an enterprise of his own. So we sort that all out into aluminium, steel, that sort of thing, and we recycle them through him. So don't feel limited by your curbside pickups. There are so many solutions. We don't have bottle caps for our milk because we get our milk refilled in our glass bottles, but I know that the plastic lids, everyone had a bit of trouble finding recycling options for those for a little while, but there is actually a company called Resparkle that make plant pots out of the milk bottle lids, so you can send them into them. So have a little Google. If there's something that comes up a lot, I'm sure you'll be able to find a solution for it. So I really hope that that has helped you around the kitchen. Some super easy tips, easy to execute. Let me know how you go.